Sweet. So it's dusty butt time nearly, eh? I was out down the river here doing a bit of a ride just to check out my chain and sprockets, and was taking some audio, but it didn't come out very well. So I'm redoing the audio here. What I thought I'd do is just to give you some tips from what my experience for the dusty butt. I've done it a few times now. This year will be, I think, my 6th time. I've done it 4 times on a DR650, and then last year I did it on this bike here, the Beta WR430, which is awesome little bike. I thought I'd just do some tips. We're all getting excited for the dusty. This may help some people. Some people might think I'm shit. Well, that's all good. I probably am. I'm not giving pro tips here. I'm from Tamaranui, so I'm giving you my bro tips. First thing really I'd say is for your bike maintenance, if you're thinking about doing something, do it. I always do make sure your bearings are good, your chain and sprockets. Had cases where we've seen people have issues, and they're saying, oh yeah, the dealer put new tubes and tyres on, etc. And I thought about doing the bearings, but I didn't. And then you see them stuck on the Alakino where this is a DR650, this example, where it's got 3 bearings in the back. One that goes on the assembly that holds the back sprocket, and that had collapsed. There's like a $40 part or something that screwed this dude's whole weekend up. So yeah, definitely make sure your bearings are good. And I always make sure your chain and sprockets, the whole drivetrain area. 1500 Ks over 3 days, and really you just don't want to screw yourself up on your weekend of having fun out in the middle of nowhere with something that is relatively easy and inexpensive to get sorted. So, but really, if you think you needed to do something and you've been humming and hawing, if you can, I definitely recommend doing those things. I always go through and start at one end of the bike and work my way back and check your nuts and bolts and re-Loctite stuff. You don't want things coming loose over time, so yeah, one thing to check, just go through and make sure you're happy with things. Check your gas range on your bike. There's another one on the 3rd day typically. Depends on which way we go this year. I'm not sure which way, but most cases the longest section of the dusty is on the 3rd day, on your way back towards Marama. And I think from memory, about 280 to 290 Ks you've got to get. And yeah, take extra gas if you need to. But the key point here is just know what your range is. Last year there was a lot of people that were coasting down the hill and having to borrow gas and getting people to run gas back to all these people. So make sure you can comfortably do it. Say 300 Ks, 290 Ks. Stash gas if you need to, get someone to do that, or grab a Coke bottle. I think a Coke bottle actually will safely hold petrol. If you need to. I always run heavy duty tubes. Typically when I change tyres, because I always put new tyres on as well, I'll change the tubes. Or definitely, if you don't change your tubes, make sure that they're good. Check them out. And then I also run 18 PSI. I've found in the past where it's a compromise between the risk of getting a flatty, but I've tried higher than 18 and it gets a bit dodgy in some places because it gets quite slick and you're sliding all over the place. So I found that 18 works. The days are typically long, some longer than others for people, so definitely start early. Try and start before 7. It's not a race or anything, but don't piss around. Have fun and take your photos and all that, and you don't have to be on it the whole time, but where you can go fast, like on the gravel road sections or something. If you're sitting at 80 Ks and then let's say you're doing that for 5 hours, opposed to, if you can, go at 100 k's. There's 100 k's that you'll make up for free, basically. So potentially you're out on the bike 8 hours plus, but if you're definitely cruising at 80k along the gravel roads, it's going to be a long day. With those long days as well, I've seen in the past where everyone's focused on getting their bike ready and they neglect themselves. It's not like you don't need to be massively fit, but fitness definitely helps because it's not a strenuous type event, it's a long event, and really if you get really tired you'll start making silly mistakes at the end of the day, potentially coming in proper. So the more fitter you are, the more fun it's going to be, the easier it is the next day having to get up and go again and have fun. And it's just really that thing about don't make the silly mistakes. So get out there, try and get you some good core strength, go for a run, push bike, but the best bit is get some hours on your bike. It's the best way to get bike fit is actually on the bike, but don't neglect yourself. That's the thing I'd say, the bro tip there. When you're going, stand, don't sit on your ass the whole day. It aids in not getting a sore ass, but you've got much more balance in it. When you're standing, look forward and standing, I definitely recommend standing. There's a lot of rocks and gravelly stuff, and to me anyway, I find it a lot easier standing. With the DR650 in particular, a lot of people will lower their foot pegs, so it's more comfortable standing. I neglected to do that, but I actually put risers on the handlebars, and the thing there is there's a lot of ruts around here, and the tip that I want to give is watch your feet when you're going around ruts, and specifically on the DR650. You don't want to catch the side with your foot and twist your knee or twist your ankle, so watch your feet. My beta wasn't too bad because had more ground clearance, but definitely with the DR650 it was quite easily to get close to get your feet caught on things. With the GPS, make sure you don't knock it and have it stop panning. I've had this before where I was on my Garmin and I must have knocked it and it stopped, and every time I looked at the GPS I looked like I was on the track. In this case here it was the Awakina and I was the Taili and Charlie, and I was doing the gate, and then I gassed it to try and catch up, and I was thinking, man, why can't I catch up to Dan and that? And what happened is I'd gone the wrong way. Every time I looked down I was on the track, but I ended up going for about 5k, maybe more, in the wrong direction, and it was because the GPS wasn't panning. So once I figured out I had to go back and catch up, but my mate Dan, unfortunately he was freaking out, going, what am I going to say to Bronwyn, because he thought I'd gone off the side of the bank and he was trying to hunt for me. But yeah, it was all my fault. I went the wrong way because I knocked the GPS, so that's something, definitely look at that. Another thing would be when you're looking at how you're going to mount your bag and on your rack, etc. Definitely try and keep it as low as you can. There's more when you got things bouncing around, it puts a lot more stress on the subframe, and potentially you do run the risk of the tabs that hold the racks on cracking. That's happened to me on my first Dusty Butt. I only lasted from Fairley through to Crew Rail, and then I noticed that the tab holding the rack was broken. But yeah, I had a hose clamp and fixed it up, all good. But yeah, one thing there, that wouldn't have happened if I'd laid my bag flat. So definitely with that. Really, that's probably the main things there. Have fun. This is an awesome ride. I can't wait for it. I try and do it every year. And yeah, so hopefully these little tips may help you. If not, you don't have to listen. But yeah, anyway, we'll see you on the Dusty. Yeah, I was thinking through this a little bit more as I was listening back on it. The other thing I didn't say is that definitely recommend that when you're getting your tyres and stuff for this, don't go out and get the bike shop to put your tyres on and stuff. Yeah, it's easy, but what it does do is it makes sure if you do it that you know how to do it, right? And when last thing you want is you're in the middle of somewhere and you don't know how to change a tyre or fix a puncture. So yeah, definitely go through, and it's good to give you a refresher. So before the Dusty, if I always change my tyres, so yeah, I go through and just do it, and then just makes you a bit smoother, and maybe it saves you 10 minutes or whatever, or if you've never done it before, it might save you a chunk of time. And then tools wise, definitely work out who's got what with the group you're riding in, and divvy it up, who's got the best set of spanners and who's got the best tyre levers or whatever. So try and ditch weight where you can, carry what you need between you, but it's not much point. It's a waste of time doubling up on everything or tripling up. So yeah, definitely. That's about it really. Yeah, I don't think of anything else. Those are the main things I think, so all good.
Shit to record too, so you don't have as much card space.